You're listening to Building the Broncos with Nick Kendell and Carl Dumler, Broncos country's leading draft and scouting analysts. Get on over to milehighhuddle.com to sound off on all things Broncos.
YouTube's always working. We're always working for YouTube.
Okay.
It
said earlier that there was a delay or something was wrong with YouTube when I signed in.
Well, there's something wrong with all of us, Carl. Just deep down, we all have our parents all messed us up. Now, guys, welcome in. Not getting really quick here on this Tuesday evening. Welcome in to Building the Broncos. I am Nick Kendell along with Carl Dumler. Carl, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. Got a little catnap in before this because, Tuesdays are my food day. Got to deliver a lot of food. And so got all that done and got one more week of that. And then summer break starts. So I'm excited about that. But it's been a long journey with some of that. What about you, man? I
am absolutely exhausted. I had a really great time backpacking to the Enchanted Valley. 3 days, 2 nights. It was only about, God, how many miles is it? Like 26 miles actually from the camp or from the trailhead to the Enchanted Valley area. But we went all the way to a creek called White Creek to see if we could get up to Anderson Pass. I made a life decision that we're not going any further because it was like a 10-foot across the stream where you couldn't see the bottom and it was rushing in a cliff drop. So we're like, you know what? This is far enough. But had a good time. I'm exhausted. But really happy to be here, get some normalcy going again, and great kickoff to the summer and the backpacking season. Speaking of summer and the backpacking season, we got to get to everybody in the chats. Absolutely no transition makes sense there. We're just rolling with it.
Yeah.
Chris Carruthers coming in here. Favorite part of the day, lunchtime and podcast time. What's up, Broncos country? Chris, that means a lot, man. Don't recognize you from in the comment section before, but want to give you a shout out, man. That's very nice of you to say. We appreciate that.
Yeah, very much so. When we can be rated as high as lunchtime, man, that's a big deal. I'll take it.
Yeah, that reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life. What is a man's 3 favorite sayings? Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is served. So, let's get into this intro here. So, guys, this is Building the Broncos. Too many shows these days. Building the Broncos. I am your host / co-host, Nick Kendell, along with my good friend and co-host Carl Dumler. You can find us on Twitter at Nick Kendell MHH. Also, you can find us on Twitter at Mile High Huddle. And at Huddle Up Pod. I'm going to take that off because I wanted to see our banners, but it's okay. Also follow us at BTB Football Pod. That helps a heck of a lot. If you guys are joining us on YouTube today, Carl said there were some issues with YouTube earlier, but please, if you are joining us on YouTube, please subscribe, like, and share. Outside of Super Chats, that's the number one thing you can do to help us out. Also, guys, make sure you give a thumb up. Then we have 111 people in here, according to my metrics. 1 like. All from Ernie Mays. Oh, man. Ernie the dude. Ernie's always coming in here hot. We appreciate you, Ernie. That's great. Wow, this sucks. I can't watch because I'm doing my final. Well, Jay, skip your final. That's the one solution. School is for suckers, said the guy that stayed at school forever. My wife just got out. She was in school for until she was 28 years old. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say my wife's age on here, but it's good luck on your final, Jay. That's important. We don't want to be that guy. Ernie's saying, go Nick and Carl. He can't pay attention to because he has the final. That's okay, Jay. It's okay. Let's get to this. Let's get to this super before we go any further, right? Steven Baumgartner coming out here with a good transition to our topic title here. Hey guys, Drew Lock is my quarterback. Hashtag Denver Broncos for life. Hashtag lock season. Hashtag go Royals. All right. Well, I'm not sure about that last bit, although I haven't enjoyed a fair amount of baseball games in Kauffman Stadium there in Kansas City, a fair amount of St. Louis Cardinals wins. But that's a beautiful stadium. And also, we want to get to this. So, Steven, first off, thank you very much for the $10 super. You're the man. We appreciate you. The topic today, it's much ado about nothing, but Drew Lock changing his footwork. Ooh. Yeah, I saw it all over Twitter. People talking about it. Oh, it doesn't matter. Does it really matter? We talked about it a little bit this morning, but I'll just get it out of the way. Is it a bad thing? No. Is it a good thing? Maybe. Like we don't know, right? Like there's like a 3-5 second clip out there where his footwork, his stance is slightly different. And did he learn that from Peyton Manning? Is that something from Mike Shula, the quarterback coach? We don't know. Is it going to make a difference? We don't know. But I guess it's not. It can't be. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. It can only be a good thing. Now, to what extent is it a good thing? Time will tell.
Right.
So you wanted to correct something about that too, because it's you kind of rolled your eyes about the footwork thing.
Well, it's everybody says, "Oh, look, his footwork's better." It's his stance is better. It sets up better where he can actually have better footwork, but he's not quite as lazy as he was before. I would say in his footwork or in his I'm doing it too in his stance. But a couple things. It's easy to do that early in the off-season stuff where you've been working on some of those things. What happens when live action starts? A lot of players revert back to what they were doing before. So I really want to be careful and wait and see on some of this. Like you said, is it a bad thing? No. I don't think there's any bad that can come from this. Is it a good thing? It's wait and see. And I'm excited that he has put in some work with Jake Plummer, with Peyton Manning. That's not a bad thing. He's making good decisions this offseason. And if he's the Broncos quarterback, then you and I have said it before, we are really hoping Drew Lock becomes the great quarterback of the Broncos for the future and for today. We just have some trouble believing that it's going to happen. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope we come in here and one of these days the chat's like, "Oh, we told you Drew Lock's going to be the man." And we just have an entire episode that is Nick and I going, "You know what? You guys were right. We were wrong." I hope we have that episode. I really do, because that's all good for the Broncos. I mean, we've talked about before how great this roster is. There's a lot of people that look at this Denver Broncos. Dan Orlovsky, when he was talking about Aaron Rodgers, he said the Broncos are the best team for him to go to have immediate success because they've got a great roster already built up. Top 5 defense, weapons galore, great offensive line. Everything's in place for a quarterback to go and have success, whether that's Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, or Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, whoever it may be. They're all set up to have success. Which ones can actually have success? I mean, it's a wait and see.
Yeah. No, that's very much wait and see. And we got Beowulf coming in here saying you have a hard time giving Locke any credit with a whataboutism. Doesn't come across as supportive. You know, I'm a curmudgeon. In my heart, in my soul, I'm a curmudgeon. And that is something that when it comes to Drew Lock and the footwork and how he's played, you know, I guess just seeing everything over the offseason, you know, this player, X player is in the best shape of their life. B player is second year in the system, feeling finally he understands it, has a mastery of the playbook. The players A and B finally have chemistry with player J, so now they're going to take off this season. You know, it's off-season trope time. All that stuff it's a good storyline, right? And you get every single team has those every single offseason, and they will for the end of time. But once the bullets are flying and once the game is live, does that hold? And I wouldn't say more often than not it doesn't, but it definitely does not always. So I just, you know, wait and see. And I don't think that's a bad place to be. But it's a critical place to be. But
right.
That's who I am, I guess.
Right. And my opinion of Locke is not going to change because of a 3-second clip.
It would depend. I mean, no, it could. Like if he did something like, what if he kicked a dog? My opinion would change.
Okay. The only way it could change in a 3-second period is for the negative. For the positive, it takes time to build that up. And so he's going to have to show it time and time again. And like I said, I really do hope. I really do. We're not trying to be downers here or anything like that. I know there's a lot of people that were very excited when they saw that stance and going, "Oh my gosh, it looks just like Peyton Manning when he was with the Denver Broncos." And, you know, but there's been a lot of people that have said, "I model my game after Peyton Manning," who are not Peyton Manning. You know, the biggest thing for Peyton Manning, like his footwork was great. His stance was great. But it was his pre-reads that was everything. Yeah, the mind. I was listening to an analyst the other day, and they said, each player, each great player out there, they have their things that they know that they're great at, and they lean into it. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, the two greatest pre-read quarterbacks in NFL history. Both of them just know exactly what they're going to do with the football. They know exactly what the defense is going to do, and they pretty much know how the play is going to turn out before the play even before the ball is snapped. That's what they are great at. They're not great athletes by any means.
I wouldn't take away from Peyton coming out was not a horrible athlete. It's not like today's quarterbacks, but like he could do some stuff in and around the pocket. Not when he was a Bronco. Let's be real.
Right.
When he came out, the game's changed, but he was an okay athlete.
Right. But 2013 when he won MVP throwing for 55 touchdowns, Peyton Manning might have been the most unathletic quarterback in the NFL. I mean, I think about that touchdown run against the Cowboys. Like most people are like, oh my gosh, is this play in slow motion? No, that's regular speed right there. Yeah. It just seemed to take forever for him to get into that end zone. So again, the biggest thing, if Drew Lock, the bigger thing than the stance that I want to see that he took from Peyton Manning is that pre-read ability. When he can do that, man, that quarterback can take off.
Yeah, no, 100%. I actually want to get to this one here real quick. What's Lock's biggest issue on the field, and can he fix it or them? I mean, the mechanics, the footwork, the base, that's all stuff, but really it is the processing and decision-making. It's being able to go through reads in time correctly, understanding the coverages, and that's honestly, I think I have more concern about Lock from a post-snap read versus a pre-snap read. You know, it's the ability to understand, like when I have a cover two, what does that mean for the plays that's designed? Because there is an option off your primary read if defense does play B, you know, our basic coverage B. And he just, on tape, it looks like he really struggles with that. And a lot of stats point to that as well, specifically how bad he is with 2.5 plus seconds in the pocket. You know, a lot of people scream offensive line. Oh, the O-line, he's never had a chance. Broncos pass blocking last year was league average. Their run blocking was honestly a bigger concern than their pass blocking. And right tackle, don't get me wrong, it wasn't great, but like Locke, when he had time, he was the worst quarterback in the NFL. So it doesn't mean he can't get better, but it's just like, why is that happening? What does that mean? That to me points to inability to get off that first read and read coverages properly within the confines of what the play is asking him to do, what Shermer's scheme is asking him to do. And it also correlates directly with Shermer having to dumb down the offense. You know, what does that mean exactly? I don't know. You know, it was a weird offseason as well. That is an excuse. That is valid. But we'll see. But Robert, I think the biggest thing is, for me, it's the post-snap reads. The other stuff, if he can get better, that'd be great. But, you know, that's the biggest thing. Curtis Everett coming in. $5 super. Thank you very much, Curtis. Looking like sticking your head out there. Looks like a window. Be careful there, Curtis. Let's get it, boys. Love hearing about equestrian poultry padlock. So that's, you know, it's, we like we both said, we really do hope that Drew Lock gets it going. Oh, and sorry, Carl, was that you that was pulling that up? There we go. Yep. Richard Sommers coming in with the $1 super over on YouTube. If you guys are joining us on YouTube today, please like, subscribe, and share to Mile High Huddle. We appreciate it a lot. And we appreciate Richard coming in with the $1 super. Richard, if you got any questions, please go. Here it is. Bingo bango, baby. Richard Sommers coming in. As bad as his footwork can be, until he fixes decision making, I can't get on board. And I was talking about that this morning with Scott. I am really concerned we're going to look like I'm really concerned I'm going to look like a big hypocrite coming back, because I've been screaming decision making, protecting the football over and over again. But I also remember the end of 2019 where Locke had like incredibly low yards per attempt and just was like uber conservative, and like there was no explosive offense from the Broncos because he wasn't pushing the ball at all. And I know it's a hard ask to have a guy who is aggressive pushing the ball down the field while also protecting the football. You know, like that's they are contradictory. I am fully well aware of that, but the greats do both. And if you're going to be great, not even franchise quarterbacks do both. And if he's going to get there, he's going to have to be able to do both. I don't know. We could see it swing the totally other way this season because how much has been banged on him.
Right. The greats, they know the times to take the chance.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Locke, there was, especially at the beginning of the season, it was just go deep, go deep, go deep. And teams are like, okay, we're going to have all of our guys stay deep. We're going to make you have to dink and dunk down the field to beat us. And they leave guys like Jerry Judy and KJ Hamler wide open, you know, on those short yardage plays. And he wasn't taking those shots. And when he did, his footwork was not great enough to make a good pass. And so again, all those things are correctable. that's the great thing. A lot of Locke's issues are correctable. And we just got to see if he put in the work this offseason, the right work. One of the things that we've heard is that Locke puts in work. Sometimes he puts it in the wrong place. Where this last year he worked on his physical body, trying to get it as good as possible. When, when you have an off season that you have very little training camp or anything like that, probably better to focus on the mental aspect of it. So that's why, again, I'm encouraged at the fact that the guys he went to go spend time with, Jake Plummer, Peyton Manning, guys that have had the mental aspect of the game down in the past.
Yeah, so that's a good point. And we got please stop the poultry block. I haven't heard that one, Victor, that much, but that's a good one. I want to rocking the emojis there, so that's good. Karaoke Chris coming in saying time to build the Broncos, and we got Pacific Northwest brethren, Mr. Boggins coming in here saying, "Oh please God, let's compare Drew Lock to Peyton Manning because Lock had an even stance during OTA walkthroughs." I mean, God, if I wish we lived in a Space Jam world where like Peyton Manning could touch a football and like transfer his like mental capacity to Drew Lock. That would be amazing. Lock might even have like he's a better athlete than Manning was. Manning actually had an okay arm coming out. I think we kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Just because it's the most recent Manning is what we saw. That's kind of what's in our mind. But like 2006, 2004 to 2008 Manning, good arm. Like that guy had a good arm and he was elite in the pocket. So, and I guess I'm a little biased here. Peyton Manning's probably my favorite player of all time, let alone quarterback. So I will defend that guy. But it is kind of silly. And Brian Greenfield coming in here with a $5 super over on YouTube. We thank you so much, Brian, for that. And also Mr. Boggins also coming in before the $4.99. Shout out to both of you guys here. And Travis Tarbox coming in. What's up, fellows? Denver Broncos for life. Nick, I'm a diehard Bronco and Hawkeye fan. Good for you. A man of culture. I've watched your Broncos for Breakfast show. Not a huge fan of Scott. Not sure why a Falcons fan is on the show. Well, Scott, I think Scott brings a really good perspective because of how long he's been doing the scouting business. And he has a good football mind and seems like a good guy too. I've been enjoying the show a lot with him, but not every single person is going to be everybody else's favorite. That's just the rub of it. That's life. I know there's probably some people out there that are like, oh, Nick Kendell on tonight. Skip. It is what it is. But I'd say give Scott a chance. He's got a good football mind, and I've been enjoying doing the show with him a lot. Yeah,
and I wanted to get to this. Mohammed Badri, congratulations on a new child. Malik, I think, is the name of your new child. So very much congratulations. A new Building the Broncos fan in the making, and very excited for you, man. That's awesome.
That is really awesome. Malik, awesome name. Congrats. New picture on there. I didn't even recognize it at first. It's like, oh, who's Muhammad? What? He looks so young. No. So shout out to you, Muhammad. Shout out to your wife as well. Congrats. And how many 20 years from now, we'll be talking about them, Malik, in the NFL draft. So the 2041 NFL draft coming in here with Malik. So I think we do also need to talk a little bit about just some housekeeping. The Broncos have signed their first round pick. Patrick Surtain, the second, signing the standard rookie deal based on like the CBA sets up the structure of every single first round picks or the rookie's contract. But he did sign it. He's in. And, have the Broncos signed their whole class yet? I know it's pretty darn close. They're one of the teams that have been like knocking people out, signing them quickly.
Yeah, which is different actually for the Broncos. They're usually one of the last ones to get the class signed. So this is kind of I was going to say, this is another thing of just seeing that he really wants to take advantage of, let's get things done as quickly as possible. Let's get these guys in the building. Let's get to work. And I really like that of what George Payton has been able to do with the Broncos. He's all business. And I'm interested to really see, I mean, we haven't really talked about this a whole lot, but just obviously the NFI stuff, man, that's a tough place to walk into. He's walked into a lot of weird situations for his first year. You think about the Von Miller situation with some of his legal issues. Yeah. Having to decide, are we going to pick that up? Or are we not? Obviously, you got big contracts for Justin Simmons, Shelby Harris. Just there's been a lot of things for him. And then, of course, the quarterback situation has been at the top of that list the entire offseason. But we got Tom El Greco coming in here with a $5 super. Really appreciate that. Locke can throw off platform. More concerning reading defenses and timing. Thanks, guys. He can. There's times still, though, you see he does it sometimes when he doesn't have to, one. And two, a lot of his bad interceptions there, especially late in the season, happened because he was throwing off platform and did not throw an accurate ball. The wide receiver might have been open, but unfortunately it was not a good pass against the Chiefs. That's a great one there in the first quarter. Broncos driving down the field, and it was one of the tight ends, ended up getting open along the sideline, and he underthrew it. And so it would have been a really good play, but instead, because it was underthrown, ended up as an interception instead.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That's a good point. And I was going to say, Locke, I mean, he can throw. He's the athlete and the arm talent to throw off platform, out of structure. But his decision making, a lot of times in those, he goes into hero ball. It's like, I got to make a big play, and just protect the football sometimes, especially with the old defensive coach. You don't want that. And we got Drake coming in here with the calling us out here, saying if you're crediting Peyton Manning with his processing, Peyton Manning processing was abysmal his first 5 years. 28 interceptions, 15, 23, and 19. Well, that's a good point, Drake. I do want to say that, but I want to retort this just a little bit. One, Peyton Manning was coming on an absolute dog feces team. They earned that number 1 overall pick. It took a few years for them to really build that team around Peyton to get the offensive weapons that he needed. 2, these numbers, they're raw numbers, and you're talking about 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002. The game has changed. Simply put, the offensives are different, the defenses are different, the stats are different. It's like when somebody on Facebook, I'll just straight up say it, some idiot on Facebook posts like Drew Lock stats next to John Elway's and stats and says, see, look at John's stats. He's no different. It's like, buddy, if you don't use like historical markers to like show where that player ranks against their contemporaries, it means nothing. Throw it out the window. You're telling on yourself. So right. I'm tired. I'm a little testy today, I guess. Sorry to call somebody out there an idiot. It's probably somebody's friend out there. Yeah. But it's just like that's not how it works. That's a terrible metric. That's like somebody talking about like, back in my day I made 50 cents and I paid my whole college. Like, the game's changed. That doesn't fly anymore. You got to use current data, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. So let me step off this pedestal here real quick. Muhammad coming in with a $2 super with the he's doing the super so he can get the super size pick of Malik in there, and I don't blame him. What a cute kid. Congrats again, Muhammad, and thank you for the $2 super. We really do appreciate that. So yeah, that's I don't know. I think that's an interesting comment, Drake. I just kind of wanted to get into that one real quick. Yeah, stop using Hall of Fame players to compare to Locke. I mean, right now Locke is closer to Jake Locker than a Hall of Fame player, right? Like this, comparing anybody to Hall of Famers, honestly, for draft prospects or anybody is just, that's a dangerous game. So we got Chase Wellner coming in. I keep trying to click to Chase, but it's okay. Manning had the fear of the Gators. Yes, he did. And we're going to get to Chase here real quick with the thumbs up with the $5 super. Thank you very much, Chase. Chase is always a huge contributor to the show, leaving good comments. A lot of times I see that he's changed his photo there, but I recognize the name still, Chase. So don't worry, I got you. Thank you very much for the super chat. We appreciate it, buddy. And everybody coming in still, congrats, Muhammad. Congrats. That's awesome. Hopefully let's keep the good vibes going. Does anybody else in here have some good news? Let us know. We want to highlight you guys. We want to put you on a pedestal as well. So I think maybe John had another super here that he was going to pull up. There we go. We got Mr. Boggins coming in once again. Really appreciate that. Oh no, I found the super stickers. Oh boy. Okay. Well, Mr. Boggins, we'll be excited about those super stickers and the drooling. That's most nights with me. The pillow. Yeah. So there. I'll stop there. Anyway, Mr. Boggins, thank you for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. And we'll get to Flyfish Hunter. Whoa, man, that's a nice fish there in the picture. Nice. Carl, what do you do to your pillow that makes you do that face?
I sleep, and I'm a drooler.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. Sorry.
I
should clarify. Yes, that's what I do. When I'm really tired It just, that's what happens. Okay.
That's me with my pillow.
So sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm slap happy fly fish hunter. Take me out, fly fish hunter. I really need to get out there. There's not good fly fishing here in Washington, but Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, I need to do it. It's just standing in a stream in the mountains, catching fish, beautiful trout. Oh God, sign me up. We know what Teddy is, while Locke's ceiling is still unknown. Let's roll the dice on Locke to discover the upside. Teddy was not paid to be the starter. Well, Flyfish, I think in a vacuum, you are correct. That is probably the way you want to go, because if you don't have the guy at quarterback, you should be trying to find the guy. And it's pretty sure that Teddy Bridgewater is not the guy. I'm more sure that Teddy Bridgewater is not the guy as far as a franchise quarterback than Drew Lock, because we still are fixing to find out about Drew Lock. But you have a lot of other factors at play here. You have a team, a roster that is ready to return to the winning ways. I mean, this team needs to have meaningful football. When was the last meaningful football game this team played in December? 2016? I mean, I swear to God, like it's been like 2016.
Yeah. Well,
and the coaches, I mean, like there's so many factors. Like if I was master of the universe, that's probably the way I would go, because I'd rather the Broncos bottom out with not Drew Lock being not the guy and being in position to go get a quarterback, than sit there at like 9-8, 8-9 and be, SOL.
Yeah.
But you got it's a 1 year at a time league. Guys are fighting for their jobs. You can't overlook that factor.
I really like this question. Wanted to get to this from Nick Malsum, and let's take quarterback off the table.
Okay,
because that's the obvious one. What part of the team are you most worried about possibly falling apart during the season, or just not being ready for the season? I'll start with this one. Interior offensive line. So, I mean, they were not great last year. Glasgow was injured for part of it, so we'll see if he comes back healthy. Cushenberry was not great. He got better as the season went on, but even he started at worst center in the league and kind of moved up to about like 25th in the league. And this is kind of, a lot of people talk about Drew Lock's stats are improved. That's kind of what happened with him. He went from bottom tier quarterback, I mean, like bottom of the barrel, to like 23rd through 25th ranked quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it was a move up, which is great, and it shows signs of promise. But it wasn't like this giant leap that you're sitting there going, oh, yes, now we know this guy has the future. And it's the same with Cushenberry. He moved up, but there's reasons that they were willing to go get minors and are working him at center, because they're sitting there saying, dude, Cushenberry, your job is on the line, buddy. We're going to have guys in here to push you. And Reisner didn't play great last year. Is he going to have a bounce back season? I don't know. We're going to have to see. And so that's the unit that I could really see not being as good as we think they're going to be. Yeah.
Falling apart. Like if Garrett Bowles goes down, the tackle situation is yikes. So knock on wood for that one. I guess I'm going to stretch on this one, but edge rusher? ? Von Miller, 33 years. I'm totally 33 years old. For a smaller twitched-based player, more of agility and getting off the line of scrimmage. That's how he wins. He's not a power player, so to speak. And typically the guys that rely more on the finesse, the speed, they have a more jarring drop-off once they kind of hit that. And Von Miller, hopefully, will be back, be great. I mean, he is, NFL athletes are all freaks. He is a freak of freaks. Like, man amongst boys, as they say. But he's still coming off a serious injury. He's a year older still. So maybe he's not the same this year. I mean, that's a reality that a potential reality we have to think about. And then in that reality, if Chubb gets hurt, I'm not sure what this pass rush looks like. I mean, you still got obviously Shelby Harris and Stremont Jones, but Von Miller and Malik Reid as like, who's the power edge? Who's the big boy there? Because they're both Sams. They're both the guys that you're going to have 2-point stances. You're not going to see them flex down into 7 tech or anything, or take on tackles, guards straight up sometimes. So I'm really reaching for that one, saying edge rusher, because like Vaughn and Chubb together, it could be amazing. Yeah. But I don't trust the depth. And also, I'll be honest, I think Malik Reid is a good player, but I think he was a big beneficiary of other things around him. I think a lot of his sacks were one-on-one production, and they were like the 3+ second as well. So Malik Reid, a good player, but I do not think he is a high quality starter, at least from what I saw last year, despite the stats production.
I like him as a number 3. I don't like him as a number 2.
Yes.
He's okay. I mean, he'll get paid because he does have some numbers. Yeah. But you're right. Better as that number 3. All right. We got Tom El Greco again coming in here with a super chat asking the question, who starts, Locke or Bridge?
I think it's going to be Bridgewater. I think Locke is going to struggle enough in camp going up against this revamped, very deep secondary. And I really think it's going to be as simple as whoever protects the football the best and is making the proper reads when called for will get the start.
Yeah.
That's Shermer's offense is, he gets a lot of crap and sometimes rightfully so. Like he did not do the best, I think, molding this scheme to Locke. But also, if you have a quarterback who can execute and get to the second read or even the third read, things can happen. There are guys open last year, especially underneath. If you hit them, especially if you can hit them in stride, then you can do something. But that just was not happening at any sort of consistent rate last season. So I lean Bridgewater. If it's at all close, though, they'll go with Locke.
Yeah. And especially that early season, you need to win those games. I mean, you're talking about the Jags, the Giants, the Jets. Like these are some of your most winnable games. So who gives you that best chance to actually get off to a good start? Because like you said, these coaches, if they have a losing season, they're gone. Like this big chunk of this coaching staff is gone if they lose. And so they have to start off right. Which quarterback does that for you? Which one could you trust with that?
And I know we got some supers piling up, but I want to get to this one real quick from my Bronco Hawkeye friend Travis here. Which players do you guys believe will take a huge leap? One from offense and one from defense. I guess maybe I'm just going to hope for this one a little bit, but I'm going to go KJ Hamler as a guy who takes a big leap a lot of time. He was dealing with hamstrings last year. Hopefully he's going to be healthy, get some more chemistry with the quarterback. And I really liked him in college. I think he's the most twitched up receiver they have, and they need to get some explosive plays out there. So I think he'll take a big step on defense. He's one who's been busting out the past few seasons, but he got injured last year. And that kind of derailed him a little bit. He's still great, but Draymond Jones, I think he's going to take even another step this season and be even better, especially if Von Miller's next to him. So those are my two guys.
Okay. I'll go Bradley Chubb. I think is going to explode on the scene this season. Having Von Miller on the other side healthy and Malik Reid as a backup.
Yeah.
Like we haven't had a real chance to see Bradley Chubb and Von Miller working together in the Vic Fangio system. And so now getting that opportunity, Bradley Chubb having more one-on-one opportunities. I mean, he was one of the most doubled players on defense in the NFL last year because they said, who else, let anybody else beat us but Bradley Chubb. And this year they're going to be sitting there going, oh gosh, what do we do? They got 4 guys that could really come after him if they stay healthy. So I think he could really explode onto the scene and make the Broncos happy they got that 5th-year option on him. And then Jerry Judy, if you look at his numbers and what he put up in his first year, you look at a lot of other wide receivers that put up very similar stats their first year. You're looking at a lot of the good wide receivers in the NFL. And I mean, if you take out if he catches those drops, he's a 1,000-yard receiver last year.
Yeah. And
I just think, especially you got Cortland Sutton coming back, second year in the system, he's going to be a lot more comfortable. Hands are probably going to be a little bit better just because you're not thinking as much. I really think he could become that 1,200-yard receiver this year.
Are there any concerns? I do think he will become more efficient, but he was targeted like crazy last year, and a lot of them were not good targets. And I'm not faulting Locke or Judy or anything. They're just like, that's our number one, and that's where the ball's going, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and I think he had the highest rate of uncatchable balls, or and that again, that's not always a quarterback. There's more to that story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's are you concerned about that at all? With Sutton being there, more efficiency but less volume.
It could be an issue, but I mean, if he has more on target passes, he's got more opportunity to do well with that. So we got Karaoke Chris coming in here with a 100 super chat and keeping it real, boys. Thank you very much there, Karaoke Chris. Keep singing, keep belting those tunes. I don't know what your go-to karaoke song is. Anybody in the chat, if you want to list your karaoke song, mine is My Heart Will Go On.
Seriously?
No.
Oh God. I really want to. I need to learn the lyrics of this song because I really want to knock out Clint Eastwood by the Gorillaz.
Mm-hmm.
That would just be one. I think the bar would be way into it. I used to go to karaoke every weekend at one of the bars in my college, and I miss those days. Those were good days. Drinking a pitcher of Shock Top, not a sponsor of the pod. I drink better beer than that these days. Ben coming in here, Bendy, does 9-8 save Fangio's job, and what record gets us into the playoffs? I do not think 9-8 gets the Broncos in the playoffs. I think the AFC is too loaded right now. There's just way too many good quarterbacks. So I don't think 9-8 gets into the playoffs. I think 10-7 would. But 9-8, no. Does 9-8 save Fangio's job? I think it does, but there needs to be some context there. Like, did you have injuries? Are there valid excuses there for him to go 9-8? But that's also the Broncos trending in the right direction. That's the Broncos having meaningful football in December. Are you seeing these guys improve? And also, how do they get to that 9-8? Is it because the offense falls apart or the quarterback's bad and the defense is great? Are you moving on from Fangio in that case? Or are you just going to kind of clean slate on offense, get rid of Shermer and the quarterback? These are things that you need to know before you could really give an educated opinion.
Right. Well, and I would say in those 8 losses, how competitive were you against some great teams like the Chiefs? Did you keep those games really close? In division, how did you rank in some of those games? Because the Broncos have not been good in divisional games lately. It's been pretty bad. So, yeah, nice shirt, Nick. It is nice. Had to show it off, didn't you?
Oh, man, Bohemian Rhapsody. You go for a bit karaoke, Chris. No, that's a fun one. Do you do all the voices, too? Like the Galileo. Oh, Paradise by Dashboard Lights. Meatloaf.
There it is. Okay. Getting some good ones here. All right. We got Mr. Boggins coming in here. Would you let Chubb walk in a Rodgers trade? What else is with the trade?
Do you mean like, is Chubb part of it, or are you letting him walk afterwards? Okay.
I think that he's part of the trade.
Okay. He's the guy that I want to trade the least on this team. Well, I don't know if that's actually true. He's the most tradable asset that I want to trade the least. Like, you're probably not trading Justin Simmons or Garrett Bowles after they signed those deals, given the dead money ramifications. But like, Chubb's still on his rookie deal, top 15 edge rusher and ascending player, still got 6-7 years of at least like A- level edge play, which is very valuable. Mm-hmm. Would I let Chubb walk in a Rodgers trade? If push came to shove, yes. But you bet your butt I'm like Noah Fant, KJ Hamler, Jerry Judy, Cortland Sutton, Malik Reid, Draymond Jones, whoever. Like, seriously, take him. Don't take Chubb. Like, I think he's actually probably the Broncos' most valuable player. Not the best player, but the most valuable player.
Right. When you factor in positional value, age, all of that into this, you're right. He is the most value.
You might argue Bulls.
Okay. But he's a little bit older.
But he's a tackle, though. Tackles can play 5-6 years longer age-wise, typically.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's an off-season topic. We'll get into it. But,
we will. But
in my head.
Like I said, I need to see what else is a part of the trade.
Yeah.
Like, Chubb to me is worth a first-round pick and more. So are you saying it's only going to be like Chubb and 2 other first-round picks? Then I'm saying, okay, yep, I can get behind that, because you can still build the roster with a lot of other draft picks.
Yeah.
There was that recent one that came out that it was Chubb, Dalton Reisner, 3 first-round picks, and a second-round pick. And I'm just like, that's where we're getting a little crazy, I think, at that point. I'd still go back and forth, because you're still getting Rodgers.
Yeah, but Rodgers is 38 years old.
I know.
He's gonna have you're gonna have a year where it's gonna be a little bit up and down, kind of like Peyton Manning in 2012, where they figured it out at the end. But like, does he have the same like franchise effect that Peyton had on the team? I mean, don't get me wrong, I want Rodgers, but that is quite the price, right? Like, you have a short window to go with Rodgers, and that's one reason I'm okay with the draft capital. But once you start taking away players who are going to be big contributors for this team, then you are taking away the very value that Rodgers is bringing. So I lean way more into the draft picks than that. And Rodgers is going to elevate. You have a surplus at wide receiver, right? Like, and even you can get by without Noah Fant at tight end. That kills me to say as an Iowa fan, but like, once you're taking away Chubb with Von Miller's age and unknown going forward, and
right,
I don't know. That one. I do everything I can to make sure it's not Bradley Chubb.
Right.
Swink McLeod coming in, $5 super here over on YouTube. Guys, YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. What will Carl do to the mustache if the Broncos go 12 plus wins this year? And if the Broncos get Rodgers, does Carl do something with the beard too? I mean, that's Carl.
Well, okay. So the bet right now, or the deal is, if the Broncos do get Rodgers, I will do the monkey tail beard on the show.
Okay.
Or I'll shave it beforehand, and then I'll have the monkey tail for the show. And if they get to 12 plus wins this year, I don't know. I think you and I could write a little ditty for an introduction song. You get on your violin, I get on my keyboard, something, and we come up with an introduction song for building the Broncos, or for just Mile High Huddle, something like that. That we write that. I've got some singer-songwriters just through my job that I think we could figure out something that would be pretty darn cool. I think we could put in that work.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, this is about what I'm working with right here. So I guess I could do like the the long mustache here.
Fu Manchu.
Is that the Fu Manchu? I don't know how much. Yeah. So the wife would absolutely hate it. I'd probably have to shave my whole face immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'd be sleeping outside. But if the Broncos brought in Rodgers,
you stroke, you got the long one where it's, but you let it go on down, and then you can just, look really wise as you. Yeah.
We got Mike coming in here saying, can't wait for the Rodgers talk to be done because he's not getting traded this year. It's been beat to death and it's simply not going to happen. Mike, if you've been in this business any sort of time, the one thing you do is not talk in definitives. Absolutes. That's the word.
Yep.
Absolutes, because they can come back and bite you on the butt. Yeah. You don't ever want to say it's not X and X is never going to happen, because people will dunk on you. So got to give yourself an out, man. Got to give yourself an out.
If we were doing this show back in, was it 2008 when Jay Cutler was traded? Yeah, 2008, I think it was, or 2009 season. I don't think hardly anybody would have been thinking that Jay Cutler is going to be traded. Like they're just like, no, you don't trade a young player that just got into the Pro Bowl that looks like a future franchise quarterback that's going to be throwing for 4,000 yards and 25 touchdowns a season, especially back then. That was, great numbers. And boom, it happened. When a player is just like, I'm done, I want out of here, especially in today's game, like players have a little bit more power in that way because they have a lot more social media that they can get out there. They can get people on their side a little bit more. It used to be ownership had all the power in the situation. So I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is one of those people that you look at and you say, once that bridge is burned, he's done with it. He has a history of doing that. And you and I know he's made some demands to the Green Bay Packers to say, hey, if you really want me back, you will do this, and this. Are the Packers really willing to do that for a quarterback, like you said, that's 38 years old? How much is he really going to be a part of your future?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I am concerned that the Rodgers has used the Broncos to gain more power within the Packers organization. Like, maybe I've been watching too much Game of Thrones, but it feels like an in-house power play a little bit, right? Like, if you don't do X, Y, and Z, then it's pay me this brand new contract, especially after Dak got paid, after Mahomes got paid, then I'm not interested. So it's not just the money, it's also the power. And I feel like the Broncos could easily be being used right now by Rodgers for that reason. And fans are eating it up. I mean, this team is desperate for average quarterback play, let alone great. So, I mean, it's not a bad play by him if that's the case. But I don't know. This whole Rodgers thing has been such a roller coaster. So I don't know. Base case coming in. Speaking of quarterbacks, when will we know the starting quarterback? Probably won't be until after the final if a Rodgers trade happens.
June 2nd.
Starting quarterback. Yep. B, it'll probably come down to the last preseason game. These guys are going to get reps. They're going to have to be seeing what's going on there. It's only 3 preseason games this year too, so you're not going to get that 4th game where it's like, who is that? No. Yeah. We like it, but sometimes it's a little bit, especially with the bad offensive line play. Ugh. But what do you think?
I really think they're going to have to make that decision after the first preseason game.
Wow.
So you still got 2 weeks to say, okay, this is our starter. This is the guy that we're getting all the reps to, and let them really take over those practices. I think if you wait until the final preseason game, you're just not giving them enough reps. to get ready for the season opener. I think you're doing a disservice at that point to whoever you're going to name the starter. I think you're right. It's probably going to come down until the final preseason game, just because that's how teams do it. And sometimes it is like they've made the decision, but they keep telling everyone we've not made the decision just because they don't want to tip their hand to the Giants there for the week 1 game of who to prepare for. I could see even that happening some too, but it's, man, that's such a tough question because you want to have it as soon as you possibly can. Because like I said, you want to get your number 1 guy as many reps as you possibly can.
Well, it could cut the middle here, or split the middle. Week 2 of preseason, right? And then you have that third preseason game where you can actually really use it as a simulated start. So, good question there, Base. That's I don't know. We'll see. I mean, it's possible that it becomes very obvious, right? Like maybe Drew Lock, it's clicked. Year 3 for him, second year in the system, weapons back, getting Cortland Sutton back, who is a much better general accuracy receiver than Jerry Judy and KJ Hamler. Maybe that would be a big difference for him. But we'll see. So let's keep rolling on these supers here. We got a $10 one coming in from Kiaka coming in here. How you doing? Aloha, fellas. Ooh, if you're down in, are you just talking fancy, or are you down in the I think Hawaiian Islands? I
think they are down there. I think I remember seeing them before and them saying that they're down there in Hawaii. Okay,
well, awesome. Aloha to you too, then. And I'm not jealous at all. How do you both feel about an update on the Broncos uniform? I feel like it's time. Love you, Broncos country. Thank you very much, Kiaka. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Let me know in the comments too. I'm doing my darn best. But if you're giving a super, especially a $10 super, I better get your name right. New uniform? Yes. The side swooshes, terrible. The dragon, rooster, Bronco head, not for me. I want to go back to more of a retro look. Honestly, like just the less is more, right? Less is more. Like you don't have to overdo it. So I bring back the D, bring back the lighter blue too, bring back the D. I think they should do that. I mean, get back to basics, baby.
Yeah. I love their color rush helmets, that dark blue. That is my favorite helmet that they have.
I love the light blue. I love the lighter blue, especially like that orange and light blue. It's like, it's time for fun offense.
Yeah.
And that just screams, we're putting up 50.
Yeah.
And also the navy blue and orange is like so Chicago. I'm from the Midwest, East Iowa even. That's Chicago Bears. Like I'm a Bronco fan, but like I understand the Bears have historical precedence over the Broncos. The orange and navy blue is overplayed.
Man. All right. Let's see. Here's the problem though. We have no agreement among fans of what they really should do for the updated Bronco uniforms. I know John in the background is screaming because he has his ideas of what he really wants for the Broncos as well. So yeah, write in the comments what you guys would really like to see with the Broncos. You know, we got the brown retro uniform is cool. Oh my gosh. I still keep picturing Brandon Marshall, the wide receiver, in those uniforms back in that 2009, 2010 season. And oh my gosh, those were horrendous. Those were so bad. That was I understand why the NFL did it. What was it, like 100-year anniversary of the NFL or something like that, or not the NFL, but like of football being around. But man, that was hard to watch on TV.
Yeah. I mean, they won that game, right? Was that the Patriots game?
Yes.
So,
so that would have been 2009.
It was not that hard when you're winning football games. But we'll see. Dennis Woods coming in here. Do either of you worry about Aaron Rodgers' prima donna personality coming into Denver, assuming we get him? I mean, it's something that, you know who else? Honestly, guys, like he plays the crowd pretty darn well. But you know who else has a little bit of a prima donna? Peyton Manning. Like the expectations, the demand, like crazy. He's like that college professor you had that's like, okay, you have 10 hours of homework tonight. It's like, okay, I guess I have no social life because I have to go through the freaking 20 physics problems that are each like story problem long. And otherwise I'm going to fail this class. So thank you. Like he just wants you to be great and he wants to make be great as well. So he demands a lot from you. But
right.
I mean, there's some not so secrets out there that like the John Fox head rolling was very much pushed by Peyton Manning saying he's gone or I'm gone. So
and
they've had it before. Also, John Elway, another prima donna.
Right. And we did have where, Gary Kubiak even said, hey, yeah, when Peyton Manning was injured and they sent me the film one day, it's Peyton Manning flipping off the camera, knowing that Gary Kubiak is going to watch this and pretty much saying, I'm ready, get me back on the field. Like that was pretty much what was happening in that moment. So I think this is, you got to look at all the greats. They demand different things because they don't like to lose. Russell Wilson, how many times has he now made demands on the Seahawks of, hey, we need to do this because even going 12-4 is not good enough for us at this time. LeBron James, one of the greatest. I mean, I know we're switching sports here a little bit, but he pretty much builds his roster. He tells ownership, this is what I want, go do it. And I don't think anybody's sitting there getting after LeBron James a whole lot because he's won a lot of championships. Most teams are like, please, LeBron James, come to our team. There's everybody putting up the banners everywhere. And so I do think there is a little concern with Aaron Rodgers just because he's not the most personable person. You know, Peyton Manning had a good personality in the sense of he could relate to people. He could make people laugh. But I also listen to Aaron Rodgers' teammates, and they love him. Like, there's some of them going, if Aaron Rodgers is gone, I might be gone. Yeah. That's how much they love this guy. Like, they want to follow him where he goes. And so if they're okay with him, I'm good with him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the prima donna stuff, it's definitely annoying, but a lot of stuff teams, locker rooms, fans will put up a lot of stuff if you're winning. It's kind of like not to go too far off topic here, but like Drew Lock's dancing and rapping. You know, if the Broncos are winning and Drew Lock's playing great, fun times. If you're losing, that gets old fast.
Yep.
So it's definitely something you have to worry about, Dennis. But I do also hope that Aaron Rodgers would have like a little bit of self-awareness where like, this is the bed that I made. This is what I asked for. And now I'm here and I'm going to try to stick it to I'm going to try to stick it to the Packers, but also, you know, like I've been a Hall of Fame caliber quarterback for how many years and I've made one Super Bowl. Is it really just one Super Bowl in the NFC even? I mean, so I think that's kind of something you'd have here as well. Is he willing to bet on himself? And I think you'd have to assume so.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Dennis. It's something to think about. But do we have much more going on here? Any more supers?
I think we're all caught up.
All right, guys. Well, I think, unfortunately, everyone, I have to go do some errands. So I think we're going to be getting out of here pretty darn soon. So we appreciate y'all. Unless any supers come down the tracks here in the next like 5 minutes, we're going to call it a day. So guys, you can find me on Twitter at Nick Kendell MHH. You can find Carl on Twitter at Carl Dumler. Also, shout out to John behind the scenes. Follow him on Twitter at John K MHH. Pulling up the supers, the super stickers, especially. I don't understand how those work, but appreciate that when John's here that he can do that. And guys, follow us on Twitter at BTB Football Pod and at Mile High Huddle. Please like, subscribe, and share if you are joining us on YouTube today. Click those thumbs up if you're joining us on Facebook. Shout out to everybody who gave us a super chat today. And how much is a super duper chat worth? 10 gold stars. So thank you very much, Maurice, for the comment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everybody's saying fantastic show. We appreciate everyone coming in here, hanging out. What do you got the rest of the night, Carl?
Well, I just got to go home and do some cleaning, man. Unfortunately, gotta go do the honey-do list. I've been a little slacking on that and not being the great husband I need to be.
Carl, it's okay because you're being a great podcast host. You're also hanging out with that pillow too much.
That's right.
So if you're going to be a better husband, probably put the pillow away for a little bit. But we appreciate everyone. Everyone stay safe. Hopefully the quarterback stuff gets figured out, and hopefully the Drew Lock footwork stuff. Big turnaround for him. You know, that's what we're hoping for. I see people saying, "Oh, How can you be critical all the time?" It's like, well, we're analysts, not fans. I'm wearing a hat, but the fan hat has been put away for years now for the Broncos. Double fan hat for the Hawkeyes, but the fan hat for the Broncos is put away. Analyst, so is what it is. We appreciate everyone joining in here. Love y'all. Stay safe. We'll see you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Go Broncos.
You've been listening to Building the Broncos. Join Broncos Country's deep divers at milehighhuddle.com to keep the conversation going.